We got April Q. Russell here, joining me here for Mad Max Radio Live 365, iHeartRadio, Black Hollywood, Maryland. You could check out this book. It's a combination between Harry Potter and Black Panther. She's really one of the most diverse and versatility and just in the industry. She's had experience in all facets of this industry, from artist, Big Old Daddy, available on all platforms now. You got to get check out the new single. On camera, hosting, acting, producing. She really does it all. She owns her own IP. Yeah, she's really been through it, and just being in LA and Atlanta, going back and forth. She has a lot of experience. Not another church movie. We're going to get into it all here tonight. April, welcome to the show. How's everything going?
What's up, DJ Max? It's going good. Happy, good evening to you.
Oh, thank
It's
you.
just like a nice settling evening, so I'm feeling good, but it's going good. How are you today?
I'm doing well. Everything's going good. I mean, there's a lot to get into because it's been a long journey. You got your own book. You got it right there. I like how you got
I,
it right out in the open here. It's
ta-da! I
self
wouldn't be an
promotion.
entrepreneur if I didn't have it. Come on,
Yeah,
Laker.
artrepreneur. That's what
I,
it
I see.
is.
I got to pause for the Laker Nation. I got to pause for the Laker Nation. I'm a pseudo LAer, so salutes. I'm feeling all the vibes right now.
Feeling all the vibes. I put on the Laker hat just to try because I'm always wearing Knicks stuff because I'm a Knicks fan, but I like the Lakers, so it's something different. So I'm glad that it worked for tonight.
Oh, okay, you did it for me. Okay, thank you.
Yeah. So we could get into this early on. So when would you say your love for this industry came into effect? Because not only are you in front of the camera, but you have a passion for being behind the camera. So when did these two passions really fuse together?
I love all things creative, media, branding, anything that's creative, and I get to use my imagination and just go. Like that's my thing. And I want to say, I say usually I was a kids news reporter at age 8, but I think it was even before then. At age 5, I was in pageants. And
Hmm.
so my mom was a dance instructor. And so she always had us in the arts. And me, I'm one of 3 girls, really pushed me forward in pageantry and arts and ballet. And I just gravitated to it. And so it's been something that I've been a part of for since as long as I can remember. I always tell people at age 8, I had a real job from 8 to 12. I worked at a ABC affiliate in Chattanooga. It was a news station. I had to go and I had to write the news and report the news and learn how to edit the news and what does writing for time mean and how to fact check. And so it's just kind of in my blood right now. And so, yeah, it's what I do.
Hmm. Communications. I did read about that, about your journey, your background of communications. So you speak about fact checking. How do you feel about the world today where you don't know what's real anymore and there really is no more fact checking, especially on social media and the news?
Yeah, social media is, that's too big, too massive, too everything to fact check, right?
Hmm.
So, but in the news, I do think good journalists have a responsibility to fact check. I just think that is what good journalism is. And there are still some really good journalists out there. I mean,
I
some of
agree.
them, as we know, um, the media is owned by private entities, right? A lot of the media. And so that's part of the strategy of like owning your narrative is to own a media company. And so they can say whatever they need to say, but good journalists really do fact check. There's some good ones out there, and I think it's their responsibility. And I enjoy the ones that actually do. Just got to figure out where they're fact checking their fact check.
Exactly. Yeah, we need more journalists, especially the up and coming ones, to really push back, especially in times like these.
Yeah,
We need that because it's not the best of times. But
yeah.
we're gonna get into the whole journey here. So I did learn of that there were some struggles out in LA. So what were some of the struggles that you faced? Because that's how you came up with the whole concept with Black Hollywood, Maryland.
Yeah, so I went to LA as an actress. I
Hmm.
mean, again, I was in news and I decided I would go into entertainment. So I went as an actress. And one of the things I come from Tennessee and I have parents and a preacher and from where I come from, you have to get the blessings to go, you want to move to LA. What are you talking about? And so it's a community. I'm part of the upbringing where the community raises a child. So it was a
Hmm.
whole community event to let this young girl go to LA, right? And so I had some strict instructions, and one of them was to learn the business of entertainment. Like, okay, you can go out there. You're pretty and all, but you need to learn the business because we love you, but we don't know anything about the business. So you need to learn the business, and or you're gonna be coming back home, and you're not gonna be on the streets. I just had that kind of like. So I went out there with a real mentality, like to learn the business. And I come from an entrepreneur family. I come from like hard work. My dad is he was an entrepreneur, but he was a blue collar worker.
Hmm.
He drove the city bus and was exceptional at that. And so I come from like work ethics. And so when I went there and I was auditioning and I wasn't getting anything, and I was like skipping work to go to these auditions and missing money. And I love making money. If you know me, I love making money. And when I realized, like, wait, I'm missing work to make money. I'm not getting any auditions. Nobody's telling me why I'm not getting them. So I'm not getting any feedback. Right away, I knew that whatever the masses are doing, that's probably not the answer.
Hmm.
And so I started like, I had no money. So I would hide. And there's this bookstore called Samuel French Bookstore in LA. And it's all for people in the entertainment industry. And it teaches you all the lingo and where to go. And I picked up this magazine at the time called Backstage West. And there was a premiere happening that night. And it was a Paramount movie. And I went, and things after that changed for me pretty rapidly.
Hmm.
I met at the time, he was worldwide president of Warner Brothers, and I basically begged him to like teach me the business. And one thing led to another, and I started traveling the world with him. And that was a great, great, great time, great experience. Made some money and was at tables that I belonged at, but didn't know I belonged at. And so, but then like life happened, and that slowed down, and I was stuck working a call center job. And quickly I was depressed because I
Hmm.
was like, I'm not doing anything in my life in LA. What am I doing? And a very, very, very close person, actually someone I was dating at the time, said, listen, you should, why don't you dress up? Because I was always in acting class. Why don't you dress up as, maybe you go out there as like a Black Marilyn Monroe or something, and, go to Hollywood and Highland. People will give you money for your pictures. I mean, you're so beautiful. You'll be okay. And I was like, wait, what? I can dress up if people will give me money. So for me, it was like a no brainer. And I called like my stylist friends and got like the dopest costume, the dopest wig. And right after that, it was like I started working as this character who I didn't even know who I was at the time. But I was
Hmm.
just like, okay, let me figure out this new world. And that's how the journey started.
Yeah, and it's been a while. So what made you from LA at that point? Because you were learning everything behind the scenes, take the things to everything in Atlanta, because Atlanta has a big market for film, because that's another hot spot for film that people may, if they're not really immersed, that's where a lot of things are filmed as well.
Yeah, so Atlanta has a big production presence,
Hmm.
right? And so I'm fortunate, I love production. I also am heavily in development. I'm a writer, so writers
Yeah.
come in at the top before we get into production, right? So I love development. I love Atlanta because this is where production is a production hub. But I really moved to Atlanta because of COVID.
Okay.
Atlanta, well, two things. One, I'm from Tennessee, so I'm from down the street. So I had been watching what Atlanta was doing from afar. And I was like, okay, Atlanta's doing this little thing. I see Atlanta, but again, I'm in LA. I'm in epicenter, right? But I'm watching it because it's like my cousin city. And so COVID hits LA. It's literally like somebody took the lights and just shut the lights off, like closed. And I was like, wait, what am I going to do? And it was the first time in like 17, 18 years I really realized I wasn't from LA. Because
Mm.
when everything's closed and all of your associations are work related, those people go back to their families, and there's no family for me to go. Nobody's seeing each other. And I said, okay, it's a good time to pause, go home, visit the parentals, see what they're doing, and look at LA. And I just started thinking, like, if I'm going to ever make that leap and expand, because I look at it as an expansion, right?
Mhm.
Expand to, and so that I can have a footprint in Atlanta and LA. COVID was the time because LA was shut down and Atlanta was open. I was like, come on, eh? And so, yeah, I was like kind of taking advantage of the system. Like, okay, you're open. I'm going to use you. You're closed. I'm going to say goodbye to you for now and do that. So that's how that happened.
And you got there, and then you went back to LA.
Yeah, I mean, I
Been
was my
back and
first year.
forth.
I was very much bi-coastal. Like the first year, I don't even remember Atlanta because I was just everything was there, and I think I was having a hard time accepting that, like I was leaving LA. Um, but but no, I love Atlanta. I'm a big believer in falling in love with where you're at.
Hmm.
You if you're there, find a reason to fall in love with it, embrace it, like do something with it. And I love Atlanta. I have no complaints. There are things I love about Atlanta that I can't get in LA. When I'm in LA, there are things I love about LA that I'll never be able to get in Atlanta. Right. And so there's no really comparison because it's just
No.
two very different.
Exactly. No, it is. And you're big on this too. So how do you feel about black culture within the LA, especially now, because we know what's really happening, where the creative differences are. Mel Gibson and Sylvester Stallone are put into the creative judges for Hollywood or something. I feel as though that it's been a while because we do have like Jordan Peele. We do have talented people within the industry that are pushing important messages. But I do have noticed that there's been a decline for a while now where we don't really get black cinema as much anymore. Do you feel as though that it's disappearing within Hollywood when we look back at movies like Boys in the Hood and
Mm-hmm.
Dead Presidents? You had them coming out left and right. But now it's like we don't really see. I think Black Panther was one of the biggest movies to come
Oh
out in
yeah,
a while.
yeah. Black Panther made the world because I used to travel to right before COVID stopped. I maybe 10, 12 years. I was in Cannes Film Festival in South of France for years, part of that market, and which is where everything starts. And the narrative that used to really just aggravate me to no tomorrow was that black movies don't sell international. They don't sell. That's why you don't see them. I couldn't understand why I'm not seeing any black movies. They don't sell international. They don't have an international appeal. How they say it. Then Black Panther comes along,
Hmm.
and money is the that's the eye opener for everyone. And the world, all of a sudden, it became cool to be black, right, and to make black movies. And kind of I loved it because I was telling like my partner at the time, like he was a British older gentleman. I was like, I told you so. And so, but to your question, I know that there are a lot of people doing a lot of work to push that forward, to
Hmm.
push more Black and people of color at all levels of the entertainment and media ecosystem, right?
Hmm.
And I can appreciate that. And so, Issa Rae is a big one, and a lot of people are starting their own production company so they can have that ownership. I'm really big on ownership, and that's what's going to be able to drive those narratives. And so, where it seems like it's not as many for me being there when it was really nothing, right? And nothing meaning you may have seen movies, the final product, but I know the back office of that and the development team and the ownership was not people of color.
Hmm.
Now, hats off to the work that they're doing, trying to preach ownership and having the rights and selling them and what that looks like at the very beginning. And I think that needle is going up. Long way to go. I mean, nobody's going to give up their crown that easy. So people are fighting tooth and nail, but I just have to salute the ones that are at least trying to make the mark. And those are all the people I want to work with.
I could tell. So when did you really start to embody ownership, especially with creating your own IP, LP, everything that you, because there's multiple layers to this. So when did you really start to take initiative?
Yeah, thanks for asking. Again, I come from an entrepreneur family,
Hmm.
and I really was really brought up against the grain. I mean, my father, who was a working middle class man who put us through private school and everything and worked, it was basically like, I'm working like this so you guys don't have to work for anybody. And I have my late spiritual leader, pastor, and mentor was the same way. Like, you got, with just a very young age, like 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, like own, and learn, entrepreneurship skills. So it was kind of embedded in me. And so when I went to LA, I did have a choice at one point, and I really had to make a choice because I was teetering, because I really, there's a little bit of corporate that I enjoy too. And I was trying to decide, am I going to, go the studio route, which is a great growth strategy. It's a great
Hmm.
career move to work in the studio system and climb that ladder, but that's a career choice. Or am I going to go to independent entrepreneurial route? And I had to sit with myself because for 2 or 3 years I was teetering the line. I was sending out resumes, but kind of doing this and so I had to make a decision. And at that time, I made the decision to go independent. But what that did, the decision to go independent, I doubled down on the decision. That means you're going to do whatever it takes. because now you're saying I'm going to go all out. And so everything, you have to maximize everything, every opportunity with all the courage you can maximize it. And that's how that journey really started for me. It was a decision I had to make, and I just kind of had to talk to myself like, this is what you're going to do. Like, there's you go all in, or just go get a job and work and make that be what you're going to do. And
Mhm.
so that's how that happened.
Do you think the future, because now when we look at streaming and things like that, do you feel as though that the independence is the future as far as starting your own thing? You mentioned Issa Rae before. She's big on independence, and I know she's had to work with corporate at times and things like that in conjunction. But do you think that's the future, is just creating your own imprint?
So I think that when you're starting, especially if you don't have family and people in the business or to help you get a leg up, you have to do your own projects.
Hmm.
You have to because you want to be seen, you want to get your stuff out there, and you have to do your own projects while you're working and doing other things. I think there's a no-brainer. What I'm hoping that my legacy, I have nephews and I have nieces and I have people behind me. I hope that they can come along and take advantage of the foundation that I'm building, right? And so they don't have to be, I mean, they'll be independent in sorts, but not as independent. I think independent, the thought entrepreneur and independent means two different things, right?
Hmm.
Independent, you people are still signed. They're not really necessarily independent. They've got teams behind them, and you want a team behind you. I want a
You do.
team and a machine and all that behind me as well. But when you're starting out, and with James Cannon's father, I tell this all the time because it meant so much to me at the time because I was working at Wild and Out and I was at a party and he asked me how I was doing, and I was just kind of like, oh, not so well. And he is the one that said, April, you got to do your own stuff. You have to keep putting up your own projects because when you put your own projects up, you gain a confidence. People start to see it. You
Hmm.
start to validate certain things, and so I think you have to do that regardless. I just think that's just part of the mantra. And if you start to have relationships, though, here's what I think, that a little fine line. If you have those relationships, it's not like, oh, I don't want. You should also utilize your relationships. If I had somebody that was at the top of Disney that was willing to get me on, I would be like, no, I want to be independent. I would absolutely, right? I'm being very honest. Like I would
Yeah.
absolutely like lean into that. But a lot of times that independent route is what triggers attention, right?
Hmm.
And so people like things, you build it, they will come. So you start building this career for yourself. People will see it and they will start to come.
It will. And I think it's so important too, because that's something that I remember when I came out of college, I was really pushing to get into some of these New York stations. And a lot of them, they really don't want you to have a lot of experience, and they want you to check your side. That This is a quote from one of the resume, word for word, when you're submitting, check your side hustle at the door. They don't want you to have any experience, any self growth and personal integrity. They want you to go through their system. And I just feel as though that you have to build yourself up independently now. And if you work with them in the future, you work with them. But if you don't, you still have yourself to keep pushing.
Yeah, I agree with that. And like I said, that's a choice.
Hmm.
Some people, some people love that structured military, and it is a lane, right? It's a route, and that is a lane for some people. But you have to know yourself, right? Everybody is not an entrepreneur.
It's true.
So yeah, I did this course. I wrote this course one time with Los Angeles Community College. Was I said, how talented are you not? Was like asking yourself this question, like, talented as, are you talented at waking up on time? Are you talented at self discipline? Are you, because that is the building blocks of an independent career path, right? And
Mhm.
if that's not you, you just have to look at you and say, that's not me. Right. And so as much as you want that freedom and some of the luxuries, it's just maybe not you. So I don't think it's for everyone. I do not think
No,
it's for everyone.
it's not, because
Yeah.
you really take the wins and losses, because up there you got a lot of people pulling the strings for you. Like even for
Yeah.
example with people getting guests on their shows and even advertisers and sponsors and things like that. That's how you're true entrepreneurs, when you know, when you do handle that business. Where the radio stations, I guess I'm throwing shots at radio stations tonight, but yeah, they do it for you. You got a whole department, you have all these departments doing it for you. So when you're an entrepreneur, you have to take initiative yourself and take the wins and losses.
And that makes you, you know what, that makes you so solid. You walk with an air of confidence, and that confidence comes because you know you've done the work. It's like
Hmm.
when you study for the test, like, okay, I studied, I did it. I mean, there's nothing, you can't pull wool over my eyes, right? I've bit into the apple, I know. And once you have that level of confidence, it's like, okay, I think that's a great time to go
Yeah.
into the system, actually. Like right now, I think I'm at prime candidate to go with anybody's studio system if that's where the route and opportunities are.
Hmm.
Because the foundation of what understanding the fundamentals and the this and the that is like, okay, I'm in such a good position to add value and to also now learn a different layer of structure and how they do it. I think it adds value to me too. And so I think once you really have that confidence and once you really have that skill set that you built on your own, no one can phase you.
No, it's true. And especially with you getting into these rooms, I think it's so important. And I wanted to get into the new record. We'll get into the book as well with Big Old Daddy in reference to, I remember when I had John Amos
Bod,
on
you
my
need a
show.
bod.
Yeah. I wanted to reference with the, when we think about it as well, with John Amos, because he was telling me about it with Good Times, that he had to fight with the people behind the scenes because he didn't like how the writers were depicting black families and black fathers a certain way in a negative stereotype. So let's get into this track to what made you
Shout
want
out
to.
to John Amos, Casey,
Oops, I think it's stuck. I think it's frozen up a little bit. April, can you hear me?
for those who don't know.
Oh, it
Yeah,
froze up a little bit.
it did.
I shout out to Casey, and then it froze because I know that's his son.
Okay. Yeah, you want to take it back really quick?
Yeah.
So shout out to Casey Amos. That's John's son.
Hmm.
Really good friend. He's actually the first movie that I was a film acquisition. I was a an acquisition executive, and I bought Casey Amos's movie in the Cannes Film Festival. The first movie I ever bought that made money and placed it on Redbox and in Walmart. And you couldn't. I was having a good time, so to speak. We was like, we're making money. And so yeah, I met them. And so I've had a lot of work with Casey and done some stuff with John. So rest in peace.
Rest in peace, a legend in the industry. So is those stereotypes and things that you see perceived, is that something that you wanted to address on this track as well? Because I know you represent with the masculinity of men, of black men, and things like that, and the record. There's a lot of messages that you put into this. So what was kind of the things that you maybe have seen that you wanted to address with this record?
So B.O.D, which is the first single from the Blahom franchise soundtrack, really, it's a story. At the end of the day, Blahom, Black Hollywood Marilyn, is a character. She's a character, and anything she does, it's a character and it's entertainment. I really want to
Mhm.
say that it's entertainment at its finest. I'm a storyteller, so I'm gonna dig deep and weave stuff in and sit out here and write and come up with all type of stuff. Right? I'm in Alice in Wonderland. Okay. Um, so sometimes I like to get so philosophical because some of it is like just pure storytelling, right, at its
Mhm.
finest. But there are some things that are inspirational, and so B.O.D, which stands for Big Old Daddy, really, I wanted to write it after I came out with the story, which was Black Hollywood Marilyn. Um, Woke up in 1957 in Los Angeles and was listening to Marilyn Monroe do My Heart Belongs to Daddy. And I was like, okay, if she did her version of that, what would it sound like? And so, um, you know, she has a father in the book, it's Man Kohala. And so she doesn't know because that's another planet, but we won't go into that. But I wanted to pay homage to amazing men, right? And say, listen, these amazing men that pour out love, that handle their business, that take care of their woman, that unify with their woman. I wanted to pay homage and call them big old daddies. And there's one line that I have in there that says, "Big old daddy, take care of me. I don't need no sugar daddy." And everybody always asks me about that line, right? And I'm like, listen, if you're her baby daddy, her husband, her confidant, her best friend, her lover, her support system, her emotional health, her you giving her money to spend and get her wine and diner, you're her big old daddy. Like she don't need a sugar daddy. And that's and there are men that hold it down like that, right? There are men that hold it down like that. And I wanted to salute that. Again, coming from strong men that held it down, and strong women too. And so the other part of that is the women. The women in Blahom are very strong, but they both have very relevant places in society. They're not at war with each other. So I'm a little like perturbed with this at war that I see the sexes with each other, right?
Oh no, yeah, that's the dating game now. It's going at each other's throats and things like that. I've completely removed myself from it because it's too toxic now, and it's on
It's
both
on both
sides.
sides.
Yeah.
And I'm like, how it's like no fun. Like, how is that? Isn't the fun part like supposed to be liking each other? Isn't that the fun part is like we actually like each other and we try to do something, right?
Hmm.
And so Big old Daddy, she's basically it's self-awareness. Like she knows that she says, I'm a big old package. Like I'm a big old package. I'm gonna bring all this to you. And she's flirting and she's doing that. She understands that she doesn't have to settle, that she's a big old package, that she can have a big old daddy, but she's also giving him his props because he's big old daddy. And so you can be self-aware and still compliment and acknowledge and give respect where respect is due. And so that's really what Big O Daddy is. So it's flirty, it's fun, it's a little play on words, but that's what it is.
Yeah, and I think that's important too, especially it's a reflection of the times because it's a mess out here, and I don't know when it's going to change, but who knows? I
It's gonna change
hopefully,
with us, It's gonna
yeah,
change with us. It starts with, maybe it'll change with bod. You need a bod. You need a
yeah,
bod because the thing is, you get you a bod, then you're not in that battle.
no, you're
Yeah,
not.
anything less than a bod, you're in that battle.
Yeah. It wasn't like this. I'm telling you, it really wasn't like this back even just a couple years ago. It's like I think social media has really ruined things with relationships big time. I mean, even with these ridiculous Tinders and all this
Yeah,
OnlyFans,
yeah,
it's
yeah.
too much. It's too much. There's too many. No one's loyal anymore. Everyone's got to have three. There's multiple partners. It's too much now. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's that, and you're getting all of this felonious advice from people who have a mic. No pun
Yeah.
intended. But everyone, if you've got a mic, all of a sudden it's gospel. If you say it with passion, just if you just say it with a little passion and a little conviction, and get your numbers up, and a lot of times it's broken people with a microphone.
It is, yeah.
Yeah, it's
And
broken
then
people with
you'll
a
hear
microphone. So it's like what's the old saying? The blind leading the blind. It's like,
it
so yeah.
is. And it's scary. Like even when I don't know how you would phrase it in the male terms, but I know in the female they use it as an excuse having all these guys. So they're like, "Oh, this is just me expressing my femininity and all this." And it's like, what is that? That's such an excuse. Like everyone just they're everyone's thoughts now apparently.
with with um with thoughts with like gold medals, like excited about it. But the thing is, there's a lane for them. The reason you're a thought is because there are people out there thought seeking, right?
Hmm.
So you can't be a thought and not have an audience.
Exactly.
So right, they're thought seekers. But then you
Exactly.
get the thought seekers that like try to make every woman, because what happens is people see life through their lens. So
Hmm.
if I've been messing with thoughts for 3 years, now all of a sudden everybody thinks like this. Well, no, I can kind of tell by the questions you're asking me that you've been dealing with a certain type of woman, because I would like some of the questions like, wait, what? Like
Hmm.
like men that come with this simp posture, like there's some men that don't even talk like that. You know what I'm saying? Like that's not even a conversation. Like I'm not a simp. Well, okay, like you're only saying that because you've dealt with some type of class of sector of mentality that you feel like you need to say that, right? You
Mm,
like yeah, like I don't run around saying I'm a woman. I'm a woman. Like I don't have to prove that. you know,
exactly.
yeah. Like I woke up a woman today. I'll be one tomorrow. I'll be one to the day I die. Right? I will die a woman, and so that's nothing that I have to overly prove. And so sometimes we're trying to overly prove that they're not this and not that because they've dealt with the wrong pocket
Mhm.
of people and they have the wrong audience, and now they're trying to switch audiences and they're bringing that same narrative, and it just, it doesn't work.
It doesn't
And I
work.
think it's on both sectors.
It is. Oh, it definitely is. Yeah, because I remember earlier last year I was kind of leaning more towards the women, but it's the guys because the guys are when I'm sure you've seen some of these OnlyFans stars that have been going viral. The certain ones getting with 1,000 guys a day. What's worse, the woman that's getting with 1,000 guys, or the I'm gonna say it, the losers that are in line for her.
That she's got an audience,
Yeah,
as long as she's got an audience and a cash app. So,
it's both.
yeah,
It's I'm telling you, there needs to be some kind of a baptism or something to just clean up this mess. It's
it
just
is. And it's a cancer. It's out of
it
control.
is
It's out of control.
unbelievable. So where are we taking this next? Because I think you're developing something with this, either on the screen, on the stage. There's a lot you
Yeah.
can really do with this.
So what I'm doing right now, I'm excited to drop I'm building the universe, right? I'm
Hmm.
creating the Blahom universe. And Blahom book one, A Warrior Goddess, is the first book of a trilogy series. And that series evolved into a screen adaptation, so TV and film. And in the course of that, because the character is a performer, there's music. And so that's where the bod comes in and the music and who she is, right? And so she performed at Black Hollywood, Maryland. So I'm giving a little teaser. Blake Home is Black Hollywood, Maryland. So, and at some point you'll see that as the series evolves into the different media platforms. But right now I'm just working on creating, writing in a capital raise posture right now to move the needle on some of the projects that I have and going to market just with the different elements and having fun being my own creator, being my own performer. And seeing how this grows and finally just letting my true light shine in these different facets, and that's what I'm having fun with it. Like, I'm enjoying the journey. I'm enjoying the journey, and it is a journey. It's a big journey.
It is. Now, can we walk into the Barnes and Noble near you and actually purchase this? And because you got the hard copy right there, and that's rare. So, have you been to bookstores to see your book in person? Have you thought about doing some type of book signing?
Yeah, I've done so a couple things. What's really, I'm going to do a relaunch of book one. So I
Okay.
plan. I'm doing this media. I'm talking to you amazing people, so you'll know. I'm gonna when I say, hey, I've got to relaunch a book one. I'm gonna do a relaunch of book one. I want to write one more new chapter now and relaunch book one and do a wider distribution. Right now, you can go on the website blahom.com and you can purchase an autographed copy, a hard copy from me. I'll mail it to you. I've got a hard copy and a paperback. You can also go to Amazon. You can go to Kindle. In some independent stores, they have the hard copy. I did do a book signing tour. I was in LA for a while and some of the Carolinas doing some of those. Barnes and Noble is online. I don't know if they have any inside,
Mhm.
but we're about to do a big relaunch, and from there, hopefully to have a bigger distribution, both physical inside the retail and then obviously online. But right now, you can go online and get it just about anywhere.
Kindle, Amazon, all that. You get it
Kindle,
right there.
Amazon, directly from me. If you get it directly from me, you get an autograph copy. So if you go to the
Oh,
website, blahome.com, it's I sign it, I write you a little something in there. But if you don't want to do that, no problem at all. Go to Amazon, go to Kindle, go to Goodreads, Barnes and Noble, Google it. Google
Google
it.
it.
That's what my friend told me. Like, just Google it. You can
I like
find
the
it.
cover art too. The
Thank
cover art, yeah,
you.
the
Thank
design.
you. Yeah, it was a it's interesting. So if you look at the cover art, do you have a second to talk about it?
Hmm.
Because it's very meaningful. So because it's Way Home a Warrior Goddess. So on this side is her goddess side. You see she's got half of her crown here.
Hmm.
She's got her crown, she's got her earrings, her hair's pretty. She's got her little white dress on that side. Can you see it?
Yeah, I can see it.
Okay. And then on this side, her hair is like in cornrows. So this is her
Okay.
warrior side. So it's fire, right? It's time to go to war. And then that's a sword, right? So you got the sword getting ready to fight. You've got cornrows ready to it. You got fire behind her, and then you've got a metallic armor piece. And so you have goddess warrior, and so
Mm.
that's what that is.
The all and it's an alter ego when you think about it too, within itself.
Yeah, yeah. I think that's probably my Gemini side. I'm always doing an alter ego.
Always an alter
Oh,
ego.
always, there's always an alter ego. There's always an alter ego. I don't know if that
So
works. I don't know if that works well in my dating life. Like, who are you today?
yeah. Well, I don't know what you should. I don't know. I really don't have advice. I would probably just say stay on the bench until the
Come on,
war.
DJ Match, give me some advice. Give me something. Give
Yeah,
me something.
I would just say stay on the bench until the war is over because I actually saw something on, I think it was Blue Sky recently. Someone said that they were talking about their husband. They're like, oh, yeah, I got on the last chopper out of Nam pretty much with how the dating game is now. 'Cause it's just an all-out war. I just it's too much. To me it's immature. It's just a big immature game.
The maturity level is interesting. A lot of people are hurting. Like
Hmm.
a lot of people are hurting and they just haven't healed and they maybe don't even know why they're acting the way they act, right? There's a lot of pain and I'm a sensitive Sally. I'm kind of a sucker for love. And so yeah, there's a lot of pain out there because they've been burned. And once you've been burned, you bring that pain to your next relationship unless you really deal with it. And I think you have to deal with it spiritually. I think you have to pray. I think you have to go to church. And I think you have to deal with it emotionally and practically. And then I think you have to deal with it with your partner. But you cannot not deal with that. So people are bringing all of that into it and not dealing with it is the immaturity part, right? There's a
Hmm.
level of maturity once you start dealing with things, right? You just deal with it. You're grown. I have to deal with it. But no matter what age, when you fail to deal with things spiritually, emotionally, and then practically with your partner, that's just you still trying to find your way through a little bit of growth, right? Because that's
Hmm.
growth.
It
So,
is.
so we're seeing and that's 50-year olds, 40-year olds, 30-year olds, and it's a lot of that out
It's
there.
everywhere. It's
Yeah,
affecting all ages and generate. No one's
yeah,
safe.
yeah.
Unbelievable. It's insane. Let's hope that it ends soon. And so when you were doing the hosting and things like that, what would you say was your top interview?
Took me back. Okay. Well, I had a client. I did some stuff for Hyundai, and so that was my corporate client. I love corporate clients; they pay so well. Um, so yeah, I did what did I do for Hyundai? I did a car show, and for something in Detroit, that's like the world on wheels.
Oh
And
yeah, that
so yeah, and I did a big Facebook hosting campaign for them. And that was really fun for me because I got like access to go to like the biggest car museum in LA and I got to bring my cameras in and post and direct it and just my creative vision. And that was nice because like I said, it was a corporate client, so it was a little bit different than doing like an entertainment hosting interview or things like that. And so it stretched like the one-on-one like this, which is a little bit different. You got to think about it. And you got a lot more compliance, right? So many rules and regulations. So, but it keeps
exactly.
it polishes you, right? It keeps you on your game.
It
It's not
does.
you can't just you can't free flow. They have a
No,
lot, yeah, they have a lot of compliance issues. So that was that.
that was that. And it's all facets because I wanted to get into not another church movie because you
Oh
were
yeah.
actually you had a cameo in this. But you also were a producer, a part of the film. So how did this really take an effect? Is getting this because you worked with the script as well. So let's get into when this officially became in the works because this was a big highlight
Yeah,
for you.
shout out to all that team. Johnny Mac, great
Johnny
guy.
Mac.
I have I've been friends and colleagues with the EPs for a while over a decade, maybe 20 years now. And they brought me on as a consulting producer because they worked with me in other projects. Interesting enough, I had that script. I had optioned that script with my partner, years before it actually got made. And I'm laughing because this is really when I was like, "Ooh, I've made it! I'm optioning scripts now." And so I can't remember, but like everything in Hollywood, something fell through, and I think maybe had a term on it a year or two, and it didn't get made, and so fell through, and so we ended up having to let it go. Years later, part of that team re-optioned it,
Hmm.
and they started making the movie and called me up to help out on some things that were happening in Savannah. Um, Another reason why I love being independent, because once you have an independent career, you will learn things that you didn't even know you probably wouldn't learn if you had a structured corporate job, because that's your job. As an independent, you're learning this, that, and the other. And so when people call you, you have this experience because you've touched different things along your career journey. I think that is a big advantage, right? You just have your palette and your career path is just a lot broader because you've been independent versus, like you said, you go that radio program, it's a narrow focus, and that is what you do. And so they called me to help on some budgeting and some financing, um, and but I think it was the tonality of Savannah, Georgia, and a primarily a Black crew. Because there's a lot of, like if you work with a Japanese crew or an Indian crew or a Norwegian crew or a Belizean crew or a Black crew, there are things you want to learn that people do. And when you've got $5 million on the line and investors, you have to kind of look under all the rocks and make sure that you're not missing anything. And so um, I think some of that, as well as some tangible things that need to happen with, just helping them come in on some of the budgeting. And so I came in as a consulting producer to help out on that, and I also had a role. And those are the projects I live for, where I can get a twofer.
You get a twofer. So what you're
So I
gonna
can
get a
get a twofer.
twofer with this one here?
Oh, this was like a 20-fer.
A 20 for.
This is a 20-fer. Yeah, but yeah, I
Yeah.
do. I'm the storyteller, the writer. These days I'm performing the songs, so that's pretty fun.
Yeah.
Acting and eventually it'll dive into producing and maybe even some directing some of the elements. And so I'll move through it and glide and enjoy the journey. That's what I say. I just enjoy the journey. This is what it is right now. And so I mean, when I was out signing autographs for the book, I was like, I'm signing autographs for my novel, right? And that,
It's surreal.
yeah, I'm always kind of laughing. It's all kind of funny.
Yeah, no, it is. And for because when we look at because you got the new record, so are you looking to get some features involved with this? Because when we talk about Black Panther, we saw how much of an impact that soundtrack had. Kendrick Lamar, Rihanna, they were all over it. So who are some artists you would love to get a part of this?
Ooh, Rihanna for sure.
Hmm.
I think she would, so I have some of my top ones that are just my personal fans. I'm a Rihanna fan. I'm a Beyonce fan. I think I love their geniuses. I'm a Pharrell fan. I think he's a freaking genius. Um, Lady Gaga.
That's different. Lady Gaga.
She's theatrical. She's
She
musically
is.
inclined. These people are trained. Like I love trained professionals. Nicki Minaj. She's a musical theater major, right? So people who have really been trained. I see Blahom being played by Chloe and her sister Tatiana being played by her sister, because it's a sister relationship. So yeah, so I've kind of got my eyes on a couple of things, but there's some African artists too that I think are going to be very relevant for the book because it has an Afro futurist theme in it, and so those are some. But I want all the creative geniuses that we know, and even the ones we don't know.
I
So
like that.
that's yeah. There's some that obviously I want to work with because I know them, but I want to leave some space and some wiggle room and respect the craft the same way I wanted that respect, and leave some space for the ones that are right out there and we just don't know them yet. And this is a project because it's so musically inclined that's going to have space to be able to do that.
Yeah.
There's a girl named Chioma. There's a girl named Chioma that helped me write this. She is a musical genius, and she's got one of the dopest bands in New York, and they play all around New York, like number one, have been on everything. And she is crazy insane, Nigerian born, raised in London. and has probably performed for everybody from Michael to Janet to all over. But she helped me. She's a co-producer of the track, and she helped sing background vocals on it. And she came to, and we just knocked it out. But she's someone who I would have lead the ship on that.
Okay.
That's her space, and she's going to be one of those people that like, wait, where did she come from? And she's been around, but but where did she come from when she gets this type of shine? And I'm excited for people like herself and myself to
Mhm.
be able to do that.
I do appreciate too with you, because when we look at Hollywood, it's especially with the image, when we look at Marilyn Monroe's like, oh, Hollywood, but they never showcased the black beauty in Hollywood as much. So I appreciate that you took the spin on it, and the Black Hollywood Marilyn right here. It's just, I think that was much needed.
Thank you, thank you. It was when I was on the streets of Hollywood and Highland, dressed as, at that time, I didn't have a name for her. It was just the Black Marilyn Monroe. And what happens is, so in acting class, they teach you the character develop. Like, you're supposed to figure out, well, who are you? And what's the backstory? And what are you doing? Like, that's acting work, right? And so when I was out there dressed in my head, I'm like, okay, well, who am I? What am I doing? And people will call you whatever they want to call you. And I couldn't react to that because I'm like, well, I'm not the Black Marilyn Monroe. Like, I didn't like it, wasn't resonating with me, right? And I wasn't trying, oh, are you a Marilyn Monroe impersonator? Well, no. Well, are you? Because an impersonator is a craft, right? Like, that's a, if there are impersonators, that's a craft, and that wasn't me either. And so I said, well, who am I? Obviously, I'm dressed like Marilyn Monroe, I guess, but I'm Black. And so I did a lot of work and started to come up with, I didn't want to be Black Marilyn Monroe. Like, people, I'm like, that's, and I said, well, okay, Black Hollywood is an industry, and I'm part of Black Hollywood, the industry. And when I started reading and studying Marilyn Monroe, they over and over again, they call her a goddess, a goddess, a goddess. And Marilyn Monroe was ahead of her time, and she was a goddess. Like, I love strong women and women that are ahead of time. And Marilyn Monroe is lit, and she's dope, and I take nothing away from her. In addition to that, there were amazing, beautiful women in the 50s, Lena Horne, Dorothy D, uh, um, so many, Ella Fitzgerald, that were part of that same peer, and they never called them goddesses, right? And so by me taking the name Marilyn, I was taking ownership over the goddess, right? Because we think of Marilyn as a goddess. Well, what about in this skin color? So Black Hollywood, the industry, Black Hollywood goddesses, Black Hollywood Marilyn, so to speak. And so that's how I finally came up with, I'm going to trademark the name Black Hollywood Marilyn, to really say that women of all pigments, especially of melanin skin tone, were also goddesses. And
Hmm.
so that was the tone, that was the thought process behind that.
Mm. I'm surprised as well too that when we look at it, like back in the day, I think Eartha Kitt was like a big face in the industry, and we look at Pam Grier, she's another one. I'm
Yeah.
surprised that they really didn't promote them more to the forefront, and as much as now that you're creating this title, because they were huge during those times.
But I mean, just think about what you're saying. You started off the conversation and saying that, do I think that the film industry is going backwards with less um, films of color, right? And pushing these things forward. And so we're 2025. That was 50 years ago.
Hmm.
So think about it. Like, the fact that they were even on a platform like that was, was already leaps and bounds ahead of the time. And so to think that they were going to be called goddesses
Hmm.
than anything else, like, hold on, easy now. We're giving you this. We're going to give you too much,
Yeah.
right? They're going to give you too much. No, you've got this. And so I think it's our job um, to acknowledge that, right? I love that era. That era is so full of class, so full of sex appeal, but there's like this aura of sex appeal that it is, right? It's like, just they do just enough, right? And I think it's just so. I just think it's for me. I just think it's just tantalizing, and so I think we have a responsibility to bring that forward, right? And to bring that forward in whatever creative way. There's no, creativity is creativity, right? I mean, my way, it's not for everybody, but my way is dope and it's lit and I love it. And it's for a lot of people. And so, but I think it is our responsibility to honor those. Sammy Davis Juniors of the time, right? The Harry Belafontes and what they did, and find a way to bring that forward, paying homage to them as we move on.
I think that's so important, and you're doing that, especially with the new record, B.O.D. available on all
Need a
platforms
bod.
now.
Are you a bod?
Uh, I not right now. I'm not because
Not right now.
yeah, not
Okay,
right now.
tell me more. Why not?
Because I have a lot of trust issues. I don't.
Okay.
There's a lot of trust issues, and we see what's going on right now. We see
Okay,
what's.
well, okay, hold on, do that. So I understand you're not activating your bod, but do
Mm,
you have like bod, like we're not talking about what's activated, right? Because your bod could be in a drawer put up. I get it. But
yeah.
like mind, body, and soul, are you a bod? Like, do you have bod like characteristics, or you're just like, I don't even know anymore. I'm tapped out. Or do you think you have bod?
I have bod characteristics, but it's got the armor on like your book. It really does because you keep I don't trust anyone anymore. I just think a lot of it's toxic and when I and we got to look at it too. We can't let people play us in our positions because we're influential. We have success. I just feel as though our worth is very high, and I'm not gonna really jeopardize my worth for someone that doesn't have the worth as the same level. I don't guess I'm throwing shots, but yeah, I just think that it's got the armor on.
And it's okay to have the armor on, but we don't want you to be because again I'm so I try to make myself say light. Like I
Mhm.
don't want to have a chip on my shoulder. Like I really don't. I think it's a little, and I'm not saying you do, but I meet men with chips on their shoulder. I meet women with chips on because they've really been done wrong. But I think that perpetuates some of it too, right?
Mhm.
So yeah, smarter, wiser, more discerning, all of that is, of course, but you want to keep it light. That's why I'm always about imagination. Got to keep it light. Got a long life ahead of you, right? Of us.
Yeah.
And we don't want to go in with like this tense thing about anything about love, work, life. You just about money. You just want to. I'm all about like got to be a little lighter. I do because I think a lot of people are very rigid right now. It's like a lot of rigid.
I mean, I've kind of carried myself like that my whole life, but I will say this, when you start to unloosen the armor, you get someone like you said that's like, oh, discernment and all this garbage, and they don't practice what they preach.
Oh my God. Okay.
That's what the issue is if I'm gonna be cracking the armor, why am I cracking it for someone who's lying and is just living a facade?
I don't have much to say because I mean yeah they
Because
don't they yeah.
I've encountered a lot of that where they're like, oh, discernment and oh, you got to be open, loving, and hard. Yeah, but then you snake me, so you're you're
Yeah,
a hypocrite, you
yeah.
know. So the armor is on until the
Okay,
armor's on the
until further
bod.
notice.
Yeah, until further
Okay,
notice. Yeah,
I'll check back with you.
yeah. Who knows? It could be years. Who knows? We don't know.
I mean, listen, I'm gonna be quiet because I oversend.
Yeah, we might have to create our own. I think there actually is a market. I think they're creating like robot husband and wives now.
Oh,
I've seen that's we'll have to program it
oh
to
God, Lord help us.
it's probably what it's gonna have to come down to. It's horrible. You have to make your own AI robot to match your personality. It's unbelievable.
I mean, that's is it kind of like the dolls and the doll girlfriends and boyfriends?
Yeah.
Like the
Like,
life sad.
it is. It's bad. It's
It's gonna okay. We got to do something. Well, let's
yeah.
figure it out.
Yeah, there needs to be a change. It's I don't know
What can we
when,
do?
but
Ask your audience, what can we do? How can we? Because we can complain or we can actually be the change.
I'm willing to be the change. I just don't see the people around me willing to do that. I think that a lot of people want their cake and to eat it too. And
Fact, fact. That is. I mean, everything you're saying is true, but it's not everybody.
it's not everybody.
And
It just
when you put forth change, it's amazing how people start to change.
mhm. True.
Okay, I'm just gonna leave that alone. But yeah, I trust me. I'm just trying to stay positive myself because it's hard.
It is. Yeah, it is. It's very
I,
difficult.
yeah, it's not like I got a flourishing love life, but yeah, but I do try to stay positive about it.
Yeah, maybe I don't know. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's I don't know if it's a reflection of the music because when you look at 90s and early 2000s R&B, it was more positive and about love, where now everything is just
It
toxic. I don't know.
I
I can't.
agree, but it is again back to B.O.D, right? The B.O.D I wrote B.O.D with like, okay, I'm going to actually pay homage to men versus even though I've been hurt and everything in between, and I'm actually going to have women, and I'm if you I have a video for B.O.D hasn't released yet, but I have a line of men from 18 to 80.
Mhm.
And basically it's paying homage because I think I'm a big believer though it does start with you, the person in the mirror,
Mhm.
right? And so if we're mad about the music that's out there, or if we notice like all the music is crappy and it's causing all of this, well then let's make something that's not that. Bod, Big Old Daddy is fun, it's playful, it's a feel good piece. When I put it on, they start beating their chest, they feel it, and the women like look, and it evokes that, right? Is that going to cure the world? No. But just think if everyone starts to do that and change what we're hearing and change some of the narrative, then it'll catch on. And so one bot at a time.
One bot at a time. That's how it has to be. I'm telling you.
I
That's
agree. I
yeah.
agree.
Are you planning a tour as well? Because I think you could tour with this because you got the soundtrack. You
It's
get bods
interesting.
out.
I have been asked. I'm starting to get. Be careful what you pray for. I'm an actress. I am an actress, and so if the role calls for me to sing, I sing. If it calls for me to tap dance, if it calls for me to learn how to be a professional kite flyer. That's what you do as an actor. You learn the talent. And I like performing. Like I do like it. And it definitely has a live element to it and a live show. And there are some conversations about that I'm open to. And we'll see where it goes.
Yeah, yeah. I
No, but
want to
it's
see
gonna
it.
whatever it's gonna be. It's gonna be fun. I'll definitely give it my all and walk the stage.
Well, you have to walk the stage. Yeah,
Yeah.
there's a lot. So, what's that role that you love the most that you played already, and what's the one that you want to portray?
Um, what's interesting, I played a role back in the day, and it was a dual role. It was called uh I can't remember, but I played a ugly girl, and well she went undercover as she was a daytime talk show host, and she had this segment where she went undercover and went to bars and dressed up as an ugly nerdy girl to see how men reacted to her. And then she revealed the men back on her talk show host. For me, it was the most fun role. One, it was very, it made me stretch my range, right? So playing pretty and a talk show host, that's, we could play that. But now all of a sudden, you gotta be ugly, you gotta make faces, you gotta kind of be like, okay, hi. So I had to do this complete different hair and step into like this whole ugly, nerdy character that was trying to get guys and like kind of you had to snort a little bit, right? and it was acting. And so it was one of my most favorable roles because in one moment you saw me being this girl. My name is Sandra. My name is Sandra. How are you? And so and then the next minute she's like, okay, guys, we're back for this talk show. And so that was so fun. It
Mhm.
was so much fun. And it challenged me so much to not try to be pretty, but be ugly and nerdy and not know that you're ugly and nerdy. You're just being who you are. So I like stuff, and it was fun. And then it was a fun, funny role. And so I like stuff that are just challenging and takes me completely out of my element.
Yeah, I'm telling you. So, what's something that you want to? Because I want to follow up with that as well. With the role that, what's the role that you think will take you out of your element that you haven't played yet that you want to?
You know, this live show at Blahom is going to take
The
me out of
live
my
show. Yeah.
element. Yeah, being a performer because Black Hollywood Marilyn is a show stopping performer.
Hmm.
Like she performs, it's Big O Daddy. Even when I did the video as Black Hollywood Marilyn, it was, and I look at it now and we're always critiquing like should be more. But yeah, it's definitely it definitely takes me out of my role because I'm singing, I'm alluring, and I'm, and you can get in your headspace because it's like I'm no Whitney Houston, you know, right? I'm no, and so to be that and to be that well and to own that is it's challenging. It's challenging. And so I'm excited to I went in the studio and recorded it, and Chioma, literally, who I was telling you about,
Mhm.
I kind of got in trouble. She was just like, shut up and sing. I was making excuses because I was nervous. I was like, oh, are you sure this is right? Like I wouldn't stop talking. And she was like, this is where you sing. You don't talk. You sing. And I
Mhm.
was like, oh, okay. Sing. And so yeah, she definitely got on me because she pulled it out of my comfort zone. And when you're good at a lot of things and all of a sudden you're in voice lessons and you're learning to do things with your voice and stomach control and squeeze your booty to make a high note and all these things, yeah, you're a little embarrassed. And so just the recording studio process to get the track laid to be able to showcase it to people was brutal. Like literally, I felt like I was 5 years old. Like I've never been, I'm like I'm
Mhm.
so good at stuff, but I suck at this. And so I appreciate the Chioma for pushing me.
Yeah. What's the most surreal experience that you've had working with someone? I know you mentioned Nick Cannon before giving you that advice, and you've been around a lot of big people in the industry. So who's been the most surreal?
My most surreal moment is probably going to be I used to travel the globe with a gentleman by the name of Jim Cardwell. He was the worldwide president of Warner Brothers at the time. Under his leadership, he basically took Blockbuster out of business, and that thing that we used to have called VHS, he did a deal with Toshiba from VHS to DVD. So he won like a Emmy for like all of this miraculous transitions in the home entertainment business. You hear the frogs coming out. Um, and so traveling with him, I have sat at tables of some of the most uber unknown, high profile, wealthiest global individuals that on planet Earth. And at their private estate somewhere deep in Monaco or France, deep in Norway, and sitting at the table, a black girl, young black girl, only black person, maybe 10, 15, 20 years younger than everyone at the table. And they're talking so much talk that's way over my head. And I'm just sitting there like, those are some surreal moments. And you learn so much. And I never forget, I asked myself, what do I say what do I say when I get to table? He said, you don't say anything because you don't know anything.
Mm.
You say nothing. And not saying nothing is not that you're not present. You don't know anything. When you open your mouth, you show you don't know anything. So you be and you just take it all in and you like, holy smoke, I'm at the table. So yeah, so there's been some pretty like crazy, like deep, like other world things that I've been at the table to, and I know it's God on my side to put me in those places, and you learn so much, and you have crazy resources, and people don't know where it kind of comes from, but you know exactly where it comes
Yeah. You've been around this industry, I'll tell you, just in these big rooms that you mentioned here, the big tables.
from. And I've been in the streets and right there beside, some of the
Yeah.
biggest rooms are right there beside my guys from Compton. They schooling me on how this work out here. Some of that's so important, in the bigger scheme of things. Like it's all very relevant.
Hmm.
It's very, very relevant. And I say that just not to discount anybody's journey, right? Because sometimes you do things and you feel small. Sometimes you do things you feel big. But what I know now is like, all of it matters.
It
All
does.
of it mattered. Like all those days that I was like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm a character on Hollywood and Highland. I was on a yacht flying a film in hands last year. But look now, right? The key is you have to just continue to do something. I always heard this, and I was brought up with this. It's not how much you have, it's what you do with what you have.
Hmm.
So today, at that moment, I had this character I was creating called Black Hollywood Marilyn. I was like, okay, what am I going to do with you? I guess I'll create a story. I mean, that's what it was to me. And that's how I justified and was satisfying my spirit to get through that.
Mm, that's real.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you traveled with the guy who got rid of Blockbuster. Because I was someone that really loved Blockbuster when I was a kid. That was a tradition.
He loves it. It's his claim to fame. You know, I got rid of Blockbuster. I'm the reason they went out of business. Yeah. He's got a whole
Uh,
story behind that.
yeah. Be kind and rewind.
Yeah.
He wasn't too kind with the Blockbuster.
No, I think they didn't want to do a deal with Warner at the time. And he was like, you know what? That's okay. I got something for you. Went to Toshiba and they did the deal.
Unbelievable.
But you know what? No more VHS rentals. We're doing DVDs now.
Hmm.
And the thing now, DVDs is a thing of the past. So yeah, he was kind of responsible for that. And I think opening 28 Warner Brothers companies across the globe. And so traveling, being there doing that was, that's probably one of my most educated learning moments. When my parents told me to learn the business, that's the seed they planted. I said, okay, I got something for y'all.
And you went out and learned. What's
Yeah.
that saying? They say that to talk is silver and to listen is gold. So there you go.
Yeah, I've been very blessed. I've been very blessed. I'm very grateful. Had a lot of favor. God's been really good to me, and I'm just grateful. And the journey continues, and it's so fun.
It is, yeah. It
Like
is.
even the
I'm
bumps
telling
and the
you,
bruises, it's just like all kind of fun.
it is. You got to roll with the bruises. There's times where it feels like the bruises can knock you down, but I think it's the fact that we get back up.
Yeah, fat, fat. Get
That's
back up swinging.
yeah.
I
You
probably
mentioned the
get
lake.
back up. Kind of. I probably wipe a tear out my eye. Like make you real. I probably get back up. I probably like, I got like 8 minutes of that. I'm a crybaby. Then I'm like, all right, yeah, hold up. Enough is enough. So yeah. But yeah, I shouldn't say you get back up swinging. Get back up crying. And then after you cry, you swing.
That's right. Who's your favorite Laker and why is it Kobe Bryant?
Bink, bink, boom. Why? Because he's Kobe Bryant.
He's Kobe Bryant.
Yeah, he did. He was. It's Laker Nation. I kind of feel like he put Lakers on the map
Hmm.
in
You don't
a
think it
bigger
was
way.
you don't think it was Magic Johnson and Kareem?
Well, yeah, they were just a little bit before my time, and I can't.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, they were just before my time, and so if you ask somebody else, they're gonna be them. But my time was a Kobe, and so I've been to a lot of Kobe games,
Oh, yeah,
and so
he's
yeah, I was there in LA when Kobe died, and
wow.
it was it was like it was so dark in the city
Mhm.
that day, physically and like just energetically. Because it was cloudy that day and how the helicopter is. So it was just but it's like after they announced it, it was like it's dark. It was really sad.
It was
So
bleak.
sad.
That was the worst celebrity death I think I've ever witnessed and had to experience. It
Whitney Houston,
affected me for a
I
while.
yeah, I don't know. I think Whitney may have been. I was in LA too when Whitney died at the hotel. That was just both of those. I don't know. I don't want to compare. Or definitely, their death is death, but the Whitney Houston drowning in the tub
Hmm.
at the hotel that I frequent quite often, that felt unfair.
Yeah,
It's all unfair.
it is.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Kobe's daughter. That's tragic.
yeah, that's what does it for me is the fact that it was with his daughter, and then no one ever brings up the other people that went down on the plane, which is it was just
Yeah.
tragic.
What? Seven other families? Seven other
Hmm.
people? Yeah, yeah. Awful.
Terrible.
So
The world really hasn't been right since then when you think about it. I feel as though once that happened, then the pandemic happened, and just unbelievable. Once Kobe passed, it's been
yeah,
awful.
but we are definitely in some interesting times, and we are
Hmm.
definitely in some real times of unfortunate times. I mean, it is what it is. But I am a person who I think you have to speak and see what you want for yourself and others. And so I try to, look at it a little differently and speak about it differently, right? Um, and as hard as the times are and as uncertain as the times are, we're in some of the best times of our life.
Mhm.
I mean, I'm as healthy as I've ever been, as in greatest shape as I've ever been. I'm talking to you. I mean, I just think it's just like, okay, DJ Maxx, and I think it's the small moments of connectivity, and you're obviously doing great in your career, and things are blossoming, and I just
Well,
think you
thank you.
have
You
to look
too.
at it like that. My frog, so I'm out here in South Georgia, and what you hear behind me are frogs.
The
I
frogs.
don't know what happens. I don't know if they start like mating, but when that sun sets, they're gonna start screaming in a minute. And people are like, "What is that?" I'm like, "It's a frog." Like,
They might be part. I'm not. No, I'm not gonna say it. I'm good on it.
what are you gonna?
I was gonna.
They're having a better love life than us.
Yeah. Well, I was gonna say something a little controversial, but I'll leave it alone because I'm just not. I'm not gonna
You're
go
not in a
there.
good space right now. You can say it. You can say it.
I
Say
could
it.
say.
Let's
I
go.
said they're probably maybe they're having a freak off.
Oh, it's a legal freak off.
Yeah,
I know.
legal.
I know. I know. They probably are. They probably are. Like
Yeah.
when they start screaming like that, they're doing something.
Yeah. No, I'm not
Yeah.
one to. I'm not one to pour on. I can't. I don't believe in throwing dirt on black icons, even though they may be troubled and things like that. But I'm not. I don't put myself in that position to do that. I believe that the I leave that in the hands of the black community to serve them. I think as a white male, that's not my place. I'm not gonna criticize any of them. I just don't do it.
Well, good.
Yeah, I don't see. You see Vlad and all these other guys. They try to really go after them.
Jump in that lane, jump in that rink.
Yeah, and they go after these guys, and it's just that's not what I do, and I just don't believe in it.
Well, I mean, I think that's a smart stance.
Yeah,
You know.
yeah, it's it's too much. It really is. It's
Yeah.
too
So they
much.
did let him out of jail, though. I thought he was going to be able to walk and serve his, not walk, like not have to go back, but I did think they were going to let him out on bail, but he's in there. So
Yeah, crazy.
yeah, we'll see. Do you know
Yeah,
when the trial is? Well, when the sentencing is?
I think October 3rd. I think it was something October I was reading. I think it was the third. It's the 3rd of October.
So, yeah, blahom.com. B.O.D. Black Hollywood Maryland is streaming on all platforms. Download it now. Follow me on Instagram at April Kiana, Q-U-I-A-N-A.
Hmm.
And love to tap in with you as we keep growing. Thank you so much for having me.
Of course, April, thank you for coming on the show. I had a great time. I'm going to be promoting the new record. I got it in my rotation on my station. So the people that tune into
Yay.
the station, yeah, so they can listen to it.
Good,
Yeah,
good. And
yeah.
I have another. So that's the trap version. So we call it the Everything Trap version because it's got the whole mix in it. But as soon as we get some traction on that, we're gonna drop the club mix, and
Hmm.
the club mix comes with a video, and so that'll be fun. But that one, and we got the bod challenges coming. The bod challenge is coming.
Oh, yeah, so
Yeah.
there you go. It's going to pick up traction on
Oh
social
yeah, the
media.
sugar and spice challenge. The women got the sugar and spice challenge. Um, what it's like for them to treat their man a certain way. What ingredients make up a bod? That's the sugar and spice challenge. And then the men have the no sugar daddy needed challenge, meaning what do you do to your woman so that she don't need a sugar daddy? And they do those challenges.
I like that. See this now. This has changed. This promotes change. Enough of the body count challenges and all that crap and nonsense. This really sparks change. This is what we need.
Yeah, it's the sugar. It's change for your love, for the people that you love.
Hmm.
So yeah, good. Thank you.
Yeah,
Can
yeah.
we get
See,
you to do a challenge, CJ Matt? Come
I don't.
on.
We gotta find. I have to find someone. So we'll. I'm not gonna go out looking because I'm not in
No, you
that
do it by yourself. You don't.
do it by
You don't.
myself. Yeah.
You pantomime.
Hmm.
Yeah, you just do it by yourself. You make them see what they're missing.
Yeah. Oh well, they're
Make them
missing.
see what they're missing.
Yeah, they're missing a lot, and
I
that's
know, I can tell. It's all
the
up in there. I
yeah,
see it. I can feel it. Yeah,
yeah.
you drop it out there and turn your back and be like, see, that's what you could get if you got me, but I'm on lock right now.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
Yeah. So yeah, you do that. You change the narrative.
Change the narrative. That's what you got to do.
Yeah, you change the narrative. Okay.
Yeah. And I thank you to All Nice too for getting this set up and connected and everything. That's the guy right there.
Come on, nice. Thank you, nice.
Yeah. Shout out
He,
to him.
he's hooking up. He's hooking up. Well, thanks again. These
Uh,
mosquitoes are eating me up, so I gotta go inside.
yeah, I gotta get away from
Yeah, I
him.
think I'm scratching now.
All
So,
right.
will I be able to get this
Yeah,
on
I can send it to you. I can send it.
once you're ready? Yeah.
Yeah, once yeah, I could get it on. I post it on YouTube, send you the link, and yeah, we
And
could
just
promote
tag
it.
and can you tag me like once you're posting
Yeah,
it or
yeah, tag
whatever?
me. Yeah, because you could even because I thought you were gonna. I know they do the collaboration with the flyers because I like doing collaborations. It's so much easier.
Like what? Tell me. I don't know. Oh, like
Oh,
inviting. So invite.
yeah, when you invite, because then you get
Well,
both.
I was gonna do that, but I didn't know, and I can still do it. You know,
Yeah,
because it doesn't air till tomorrow, right?
yeah. Oh no, it's live now.
Oh, people can see us now.
Yeah, we've been
Hey,
live. Yeah,
oh, we're just talking. Hey
yeah,
guys.
yeah. We're live now. Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah. So, I'm sorry. Hey y'all.
No, no, it's all right.
I was just talking in front of company.
Yeah. Hey, they got the real us. That's all that
They
matters.
did. This is us. This is us.
Yeah.
This is us. I'm getting ate out. Okay. Well, I didn't
Yeah.
know we were live. It's so funny.
Yeah, and tomorrow's the day of they not like us.
You're not like us. You're not like us. Okay, got it. All right.
All
So,
right.
yeah, hit me later.
Okay, I will. April, thank you. Thank you again. And like I said, anytime you're always welcome back on. Congratulations on everything.
Thank you. Thank you. Have a good one. To be
Thank you, you
continued.
too.
Okay.
Yes.
All
Take
right.
care.
Bye.
Bye-bye.